Laura and welcome to class today. Today's class is going to be a restorative foam roller class. So you will need a full length foam roller if you have one, and if you don't you could use a rolled up towel. So as always, before we get started, make sure that you're kind to your body and you're aware of its needs throughout the class. And we're going to make our way down onto our back. So if we place our feet over the top of our roller and then just gently roll the spine down onto the ground. And what we want to do is align the roller so that it's the back of the knees so the legs can really relax over the roller. And we're just going to allow the rest of the body to come back down. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears. Just lengthening the neck so the chin slightly drops down towards the chest. And checking the three bones at the front of your pelvis, that they're level with each other. So that your pelvis is aligned into neutral. And once we've got the head and the neck placed, we want to allow the back ribs to come down onto the mat. So feel free to use something underneath your head if you need to. And then just place your arms at the sides of your body. Begin with some thoracic breathing. So breathing in to expand the sides and the back ribs. And then exhaling, feeling the narrowing of the rib cage. So feel the expansion on the in-breath and the narrowing on the out-breath. And it's as if the side ribs, the back ribs, are reaching wide and down on your in-breath, and then on your out-breath, the sides of the rib cage and the back of the rib cage are narrowing in towards the spine. And on your next out breath, we're going to find the deep abdominal muscles. So as you exhale, draw the navel in, lift the pelvic floor up, and then control that on each in breath. Reinforce the connection of your deep abdominals on each out breath. And we're just going to start to breathe and move the pelvis. So on your next out breath, I'd like you to tip your pelvis backwards, rounding your lower back towards the mat, and then allowing your pelvis on the in-breath to release back to neutral. So as we tip the pelvis, we want to feel that the legs are staying heavy, not allowing the feet to push into the floor or the gripping of the hips. And that's going to make the abdominals do the work. And it's going to give us a stretch through the lower back. And you might notice how when the pelvis moves in a backwards placement, that the roller rolls up because the legs are moving. So just allow the movement of the legs to happen because of the pelvis. Okay. So we're just going to do this 2 more times, trying to keep the work in the abdominals, the neck, the shoulders, the arms relaxed on the floor. And each time just see if we can stretch out the lower back muscles, stretch out the backbones of the spine. And then as you come back to neutral, we're just going to start to move the legs over the roller. So I'm just going to roll the roller down about halfway to my calves. And I'm going to start to roll in and then roll out. Now at the moment, I'm really trying to keep my legs in parallel. And I'm going to place my hands on my pelvic bones because what we want to check in is that we're allowing the pelvis to stay nice and stable. So the bigger the movement of your legs is, the bigger you bend the knees, the more bend we have and the more straightening of the legs we have here, the more massage we're going to get up the back of the calves. But also this is going to challenge the abdominal muscles to stabilize the pelvis and the spine. So we're just going within a range that we feel that we can control it, and we get a little bit of a massage in the calves. Now I'd like you to, when you extend the legs, start to spiral the thigh bones outwards and notice how the knees and the toes turn out. Now we're going to keep this turn out and we're going to start to roll up so the knees are pointing wide and then roll out. Now in this position my legs are quite relaxed, so they're not gripping, the work is in the centre. Okay, we're just getting a gentle massage on the outside of the shins. And this for me is a little bit of a tender part. So just noticing which parts are tender, which parts don't feel so so tender. Maybe they're a little bit easier to massage, and we're just going to do 2 more of these. Just allowing the legs to come in and out. And then as we straighten the legs this next time, keep them straight. This time we're going to roll the thigh bones inwards, so as if the inner thighs are wrapping towards the ground between the legs. And we're going to go again, so we're going to roll in and we're going to roll out. Now for myself, I'm just going to roll my foam roller down a little bit, because I want to get a little bit further down towards the ankle. So this is about what your body needs. So if you need to move the foam roller at any point, you're going to move it if you need it. And just checking in, are you still breathing? Is the rib cage still heavy? How does this roll in, the massage in the inner edges of the calf, differ to the outer, or differ to when we were in parallel? Now, last 2. Keeping the legs relaxed, keeping the upper body relaxed, and then as we extend, we're going to bring our legs back to parallel, and we're going to roll the roller all the way in and bring the soles of the feet on top of the roller, and we want to have the arches of the feet on the roller, okay? And I want you to just feel how the soles of the feet almost try and wrap around the roller here. And start to release your arms down. We're going to take a deep in-breath and lift your arms up. Exhale, interlace them and bring them behind the head. Take an in-breath here, line the elbows so they're slightly in front of your head. You can see them in your peripheral vision. And then on your out-breath, keep the feet heavy on the roller and lift the upper body up. Inhale to lower back down. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Now this time what we're going to do is we're going to coordinate the legs. So as we lower the upper body down, roll the roller away, and as we come back in, come in together. So a little bit of work, but I want you to try and feel how the lower body stays released. So the legs are quite heavy, and this is then going to load the torso. Now we're just going to do 2 more, floating those front bottom ribs down to the pelvic bones, keeping the head heavy into the hands. Now this last one, as the legs slide away and our upper body lowers, keep the legs straight. Pull up on the thighs, so we're not locking the knees slightly soft. Now we're going to rotate, so the right shoulder draws down into the floor, and we turn the chest over to the right side. Left hip drops into the mat, and then come back to center. And then exhale to turn to the opposite side. So I'm still reaching through my legs. I'm dropping my tailbone down, and if you need to, because this is too much to ask for the position of our pelvis and our lumbar spine, so if the pelvis is tipped forwards, the lower back is arching, feel free to roll the roller back in. And we're just going to do 1 more to each side. The last rotation is to the left, and as we come back down, release the hands, reach the arms up and take a stretch over. So feeling this full body stretch, let the legs be heavy into the roller again, and you want to feel the front bottom ribs slide down, so we're still keeping that tension around your center. On your next in-breath, lift the arms. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders. And we're going to see if we can roll up. We're just going to roll up to where we can. I'm going to think of rolling the roller away from you. I'm going to reach forwards. Now if this means, and we're going to roll back, so we're going to roll back to the mat. Now if this means that I need some support, maybe I get to what I call the sticking point, that place where you feel like you can't come any higher, or that place on the way down that you feel like you're going to fall down to the floor rather than roll, you're going to need a towel along that part of your spine. So it may be the lower back, it may be the waist, it may be the rib cage area. Or what you can do is just roll up to that place that you can go to. Now we're just going to do 1 more. And whichever option you are doing of this, we're going to make our way up. So feel free to rock up, roll up as I'm doing, or roll to the side to bring you all the way up. Come up to sitting. And we're going to take our feet off the roller, and we're going to lay the roller down the centre of our mat now. So take a seat on the edge of the roller, and this time guide yourself down so that you're laying on top of the roller. We want to make sure that the pelvis is on the roller and the back of the head is also. And just allow the feet to be in line with the hips, make any adjustments so that you feel central. Okay, and then rest the arms to the side. So at the moment, you're going to feel how the chest starts to open because the shoulders are rolling back because the arms are further down on the floor or further back than the pelvis and the rib cage. So you're just going to start to feel those points of contact with the back of your body. Take an in breath, and on your next out breath, feel the left foot heavy into the floor. Can you lighten the right leg and lift up to tabletop? And then lower back down, so we're marching. And then we're going to change sides, so the right foot becomes heavy, and then we lift. And then lower. So the challenge is to minimise the movement of your roller. Now if you've got a towel, this is going to be a little bit easier because the body can actually sink into the towel. The towel is going to squash underneath the body. Whereas the roller is round, it's going to roll to the side, which mine is a little bit, I don't know if you can see. Now this is really good at showing our imbalances. So I know that one side definitely feels easier than the other side. Now we're just going to do one more each side. And then when the left foot is the last one to find the mat, we're going to stay there. We're going to keep the feet planted, keep the rib cage heavy, and float the arms up to the ceiling. Turn your palms to face in. Okay, we're going to start to open the arms out to a T. Still got to try and keep the body quiet, but this time we're going to get a stretch across the chest. And we're going to draw the arms back in. We're going to go again, so opening out and back in. So we're still feeling the work in the core, but the restorative element of this workout comes from allowing those muscles to contract while we stretch, while we mobilize, and while we breathe. So it's about letting go where we don't need the tension. Okay. Now the next time the arms find the mat, they're going to stay there. The elbows are going to stay soft. And we're just going to allow the arms to float up. Go to where you find a deeper stretch. Slide the shoulder blades down. So for me, that's here. I could probably go a little bit further, but this feels a good stretch. And then we're going to slide the arms back down. Now if you find that this is too much, maybe the arms don't quite find the floor, and that's okay. Stay with the open and close of the arms, or take this movement with the hover of the arms on the ground. So we're just going to do two more. And last one. I'm going to stay here a moment. So stay in that position where you feel the stretch. Now take a deep breath in. Open the ribs, widen, try and breathe into where you're feeling the stretch, the front of your shoulder, maybe into the chest, and then exhale. Let the weight of your arms just go. And let's do that 2 more times. So breathing in. And exhale, feel the spine elongate along the length of the roller. Last time. And then we're going to lower our arms and we're going to gently roll ourselves to the side to come off. Just take a moment and then push yourself up to sitting. Okay, we're going to use the roller to just massage our hips a little bit here. So what I'd like you to do is bend your top leg, so this is my right leg, and sit your left hip on top of the roller. Or you can mirror me, so it may be your right hip on the roller, left leg bent. And I'm going to stretch my underneath leg all the way out. And I'm supporting myself on my hand, or you can support yourself on your elbow. Now what I want you to try and find is the space between your crest of your pelvis and where your thigh bone meets your hip, so your greater trochanter. And it's going to be that squishy part. Okay, so once you're there, I just want you to gently rock forwards and rock back. So I'm using this top foot to help me. I'm using my supporting arm. And I'm just allowing my weight to sink into the roller. Now obviously, the more we let the weight sink, the more we're going to feel that massage. So it may be a little bit uncomfortable, and that's okay. Now we're just going to do one more each way. And then we're just going to slightly roll up and down. It's not a huge movement. I'm just going to adjust my underneath arm. It's not a huge movement because we want to make sure that we're in muscle or on muscle, and we're definitely not rolling around on bone. So if you're on bone, you're probably either going to be a little bit too high or you're going to be a little bit too low. Find the squishy part. And just two more. And last one. Okay, this time push into your top foot. We're going to lift the pelvis up, and you're going to go below the greater trochanter now. I can't get that word out today. So you're going to find the outside of your thigh. I'm going to move my arm a little bit further up, and I'm really going to push down into this top foot now, because I'm going to roll up the outside of my leg, or down the outside of my leg, and then up. But I'm rolling up with the roller, or up the roller, and then down the roller. Now, obviously, more pressure, the more intense it's going to be, so you know your body. But think of your posture, so your shoulder blades are sliding in and down. Our chest is staying wide. We're just going to do two more. We're not finding the knee joint, so it's above the knee. And last time. And then just let the underneath knee bend, let the roller roll up, let the pelvis come back down. Okay, let's do that on the other side. Hopefully we feel a little bit different on this leg. It feels a little bit more mobile for me. So same thing, underneath leg is straight, top leg is bent. We're going to find that place. So let me just show you here. If you find where your greater trochanter is, draw a line up the thigh and find it there, where the heel of the hand is. So that's where your greater trochanter is. This is where your crest is. You want to be between that place, okay? Now if you don't have a foam roller to do this on, what you could use is a tennis ball or something like that. So once you've found that position, we're just going to take that gentle rock forwards and backwards on the pelvis. And just notice, is there a difference on this side to the other side? This side is a lot tighter for me. So I'm just letting gradually my body weight sink into my hip. Breathing as you're moving, because it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but that is how we benefit, by really massaging and releasing our fascia, connective tissue, everything. It holds everything together. It gets tight, the joint is affected, the muscle is affected, and then we're just going to go slightly up and down. So it's not a huge movement, remember, because we want to make sure that we're not on bone. And it feels more beneficial to me to be further back at that side of the muscle, because it's a little bit more tender than it is at the front. So you find where it's best, or you feel that it's going to be more beneficial for you. And then once we've done our last one, we're going to lift up and just lower so that we're not on the greater trochanter. I've got it. And then we're going to go again. We're going to roll up and then down. I'm just going to move mine down a little bit. So this is our IT band. So quite a big connective tissue and ligament, tendon type muscle at the side. And it can get quite tight. So we want to give it a good massage. Okay, so we're just going to do 2 more. And last one. And then we're going to lower our hips all the way down. So you can spend a little bit more time on this. So you might want to pause the video. If you're feeling quite tight in areas, you might want to come back to this, work on it throughout the day. And then this time we're going to bring the foam roller to the upper back. So we want to be around about bra strap area or just below the tips of the shoulder blades. Interlace the hands and take the hands behind the head. Level the pelvis and rest the feet. Elbows wide but in your peripheral vision. And we're just going to allow the rib cage to sink into the roller. On your in-breath, we're going to take the chest up and over the roller. Now, I've done this on the ball recently in one of my other videos. The foam roller is going to add a little bit more intensity because it doesn't squash like the ball does. And then we're going to exhale to lift up. So an option is to go for the ball if the roller feels too much. And lift. And we're just going to do 1 more of these because I like the massage that we can do for the back. So we're going to lift up. And press into your feet now. Lift your pelvis up off the mat. So we're using our glutes and we've got our pelvis level with our rib cage. And I'm just going to start to lower my pelvis towards my feet to roll the roller up my back, making sure that I'm not going up to my neck, I'm not going further up than my shoulders. And then I'm pushing into my feet to roll the roller down. And I'm not going to go further down than my last couple of ribs. And you may even want to miss the last couple of ribs if it feels uncomfortable. And we're just going to roll up and down. So each time I breathe out, I'm trying to let the weight of my body just sink into the roller a bit more. I'm using my glutes to help stabilize my pelvis, and I'm using my hands to take the weight of my head. And again, you might find that you've got a tighter area. Maybe you want to just roll gently up and down that space, and that's fine. Okay, last 2. Can you let go? Are you breathing as you're moving through this? And last 1. So when we find that position of the back where we started, we're going to lower the pelvis down. Just let your pelvis shuffle to the back edge of your mat, and we're going to roll onto our side. So as we've rolled over, we may need to adjust our roller. So we want to go kind of outside of the armpit area, and I'm already feeling this. So bend the knees straight, straighten the legs, whatever's good. Bending the knees for me is a little bit kinder here. And we're going to massage the lats. So we're just going to let the chest lift up, the side body lifts to massage down the lat, and then release down to massage up. And again. Now, out of all the massaging that we've done, I think this is the most intense for me. So it's clear that here needs a bit more work. So unfortunately, the more uncomfortable it feels, the more we need to work on it. So we may need to do shorter bursts in those more uncomfortable areas, but more often. Now we're going to stay here. I'm just going to rock gently forwards. Rotate the upper elbow, the top elbow forwards. And then do the same to the back. So just gently open into the back. And again, rolling forwards. And then rolling back. One more time. So it's definitely nice to be going through that discomfort and then away from it. Through that discomfort and then again away from it. And then we're going to come up. So you could roll onto your back and roll to the other side, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to come up and then change sides with my roller. I'm going to compare this side to the other side. So I've had a few injuries on this shoulder, so I'm imagining that this may be a little bit more intense. So interlacing the hands, hands behind the head pushes back. And then just find that spot. Your chest is square to the wall in front. And then we're going to start to roll and lift and then release. Yeah, this is definitely more intense, as I expected. So just as I mentioned, you may want to work on this for a fewer rolls or reps, but more sets. So you may want to take more rest in between, especially if there's a certain part that feels uncomfortable. And we definitely don't want to be within a pain threshold that is almost making our eyes water. We want to stay away from that. Okay, and we're just going to do a couple more. And sometimes we get what we called referred discomfort. So it may go down your arm, it may go slightly up your neck. As long as it's not pins and needles, it's good. Okay, so one more time each way. And then we're going to bring ourselves up. Okay, and just pop your roller to the side for the minute and come to an all fours position. Okay, so coming into a cat stretch, find a neutral spine and reach the tailbone back, the crown of the head forwards, and the three bones at the front of the pelvis are level with each other. On your next out breath, I want you to feel how the tailbone tucks under, the navel draws up to round your lower back. Inhale to release the pelvis back to neutral. And exhale to tip the pelvis back. And inhale to release. And just notice how your arms feel. How does that area that we've massaged feel? And now come into full cat stretch. So we round the lower back, the middle back. Start to release the neck, the head forwards last. And then come back to neutral. So start to lengthen the tailbone back, reach the chest forwards, lift the eye gaze. And just one more time, so we round the spine. Do we feel more open through the spine? And then release. Back to neutral, take a child's pose. So sit the hips back, reach the arms forward, slide the fingers, walk them to the front of your mat. Take an in-breath into the back of your body. And then breathe out, let it go. And just one more. Now on your next out breath, start to tuck the tail under, draw the navel in, let the hands slide in as you roll up. Take the hands behind you, interlace them or clasp them, and then reach the arms back, down, open the chest. And release. Thank you for joining me today, and if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch, and if you haven't already, subscribe below and click the bell icon for future notifications for classes. Hope to see you again soon. Bye!